This is Dude Explains Everything. Subscribe to me, okay? Let's get started. Number 5. The Golden Age, when more teeth is better was the truth. Picture this. You're not living in the 21st century with a fridge full of soft food. You're one of our distant ancestors roaming the savannah. Lunch isn't a chicken sandwich. Lunch is tough, fibrous roots you have to wrestle out of the ground, nuts with armor-like shells, and if you're lucky, a piece of raw meat you have to tear off a carcass. To survive in that world, your mouth couldn't be a decoration. It had to be a biological grinding machine, and that machine needed as many parts as possible. Our ancestors had wide, powerful jaws, a perfect structure to house a full set of 32 teeth. 3 sets of molars worked in concert like an industrial assembly line to crush everything. Wisdom teeth, the third molars, weren't redundant. They were key personnel, the strategic reserves that emerged in adulthood to replace teeth that had been worn down by years of chewing on grit and rock. Simply put, back then, wisdom teeth were a premium feature, a necessary upgrade for survival. They were a brilliant design for a specific purpose. The problem was, that purpose was about to become obsolete.
Number 4. The Fire Revolution. The good idea that ruined everything. Then one day, one of our smart ancestors did something that changed everything. They harnessed fire. Boom! The revolution began. Fire didn't just bring light and warmth. It brought us the art of cooking. Food was cooked. Meat became tender. Hard vegetables could now be softened. We no longer needed the raw, muscular power of our jaws to break down our food. And this is where evolution's use it or lose it principle kicked in, brutally. With our jaw muscles no longer working overtime day after day, they began to weaken. And over thousands upon thousands of generations, the human jawbone began to shrink. Think about it. Our brains were getting bigger, requiring a larger cranium, while our jaws were getting smaller. It was a massive corporate restructuring of the body. We had upgraded our lifestyle to the premium edition, but our genetics, the department in charge of making teeth, was still running on an ancient operating system. It didn't get the memo about downsizing production.
Number 3. The housing crisis. Your jaw is out of room. Now, imagine your jaw is a piece of real estate. Your ancestors owned a spacious property with 32 lots. But over time, the city rezoned, shrinking that property down to a plot with only 28 lots. The problem is the genetic factory kept producing 32 teeth according to the original blueprint. So what happens to the last 4 teeth, the wisdom teeth, who are the last to arrive? They show up to the party after all the seats are taken. There is no more room. They get stuck. They try to squeeze into a space that doesn't exist, like trying to park a truck in a motorcycle spot. They might grow in sideways, at a 90-degree angle, ramming into the tooth next door. They can be impacted, buried completely under the gums, or worse, they only partially emerge, creating a deadly little flap of gum tissue. Essentially, wisdom teeth became illegal squatters in your own body, and this occupation was not going to be peaceful.
Number 2. The rebellion, when the pain erupts. An impacted wisdom tooth doesn't just sit there quietly. It rebels. And when a tooth rebels, you are the first to feel it. The pain isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a red alert siren. That little gum plap over the partially erupted tooth becomes a perfect food trap, a paradise for bacteria to multiply. The result? Pericoronitis. An infection that causes your gums to become swollen, painful, and sometimes filled with pus. The sideways growing tooth pushes against your second molar, creating a cavity you can't clean, slowly destroying both teeth. In the worst case scenarios, the infection can form cysts, eating away at your jawbone from the inside. Let's be honest, that dull throbbing ache in the corner of your jaw, the one that radiates up to your temple and keeps you up at night, that's the language of a wisdom tooth. It's its declaration of war, a reminder that an evolutionary mistake is causing a very real crisis in your mouth.
Number 1. The expensive eviction, fixing nature's mistake. And finally, we arrive at the end of this tragedy. The only solution to the rebellion, a forced eviction, otherwise known as a wisdom tooth extraction. You sit in a dentist's chair, under a bright light, and pay a significant amount of money for a stranger to use pliers, levers, and sometimes a drill to remove a part of your own body. We are using 21st century technology to fix a Stone Age design flaw. The irony is staggering. We are literally paying the price for our ancestors' intelligence. Because they discovered fire, we now have to endure this surgery. Then come the days of eating soup and jello with one cheek swollen up like a chipmunk's, all to get rid of something that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Some lucky people today are born without wisdom tooth buds. They are the updated version of humanity. The rest of us are stuck with this buggy beta release. So there you have it, the complete story of the wisdom tooth. A journey from a vital survival tool to a source of pain and misery. It's the clearest proof that evolution isn't some grand, intelligent designer. It's a lazy handyman who just does what's necessary to keep things barely running. Your body isn't a perfect masterpiece. It's an old house with weird plumbing and a few spare parts left over in the basement. So what about you? Have you had to go through the painful eviction? Or are you one of the lucky evolved ones? Share your horror story in the comments. And ask yourself, how many more of these design flaws are we living with just fine? Thanks for watching. I'm Dude, and I just explained some stuff. See you next time.